Oh guys, check out that young grass, will you? Bit of unwanted grass in there and a few thistles popping up. Oyster catcher nest out there where that big thistle is, but they've had the chicks. There he goes. Don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, she's pretty cranky with me. Can I zoom in here? No. You can just see between the two big thistles the young oyster catcher. Well, that miss was worth leaving, but that grass, man, give that 2 to 3 weeks and it will be, well, it'll be grazed. Woohoo! Anyway guys, g'day, welcome back to the channel. Things have certainly turned around from not the last video but the one before that. Yeah, we were insanely tight for feed, and now check this out. Look at that grass! Not grass to burn yet, but we've got grass. Everything's getting fed, everything is happy. It's a really good feeling, and I'm now making that whole situation a whole lot worse by taking grass out. So we'd better go have a look at that, eh? Oh, she's some ugly country up there. G'day there, Big Blue. And other Big Blue. No bird's nest on the exhaust. That is a very good start. Quick walk around. And bolts loose there, I can see. Everything's looking okay. It's amazing how fast the old moldboards get a lick of rust on them, but that'll come off in a hurry. Forgot to bring some spanners with me because that bolt is loose. It's actually getting really annoying. I should probably go back and get them, but right here and now we're going to get going. Coulters are all good. I do feel a bit of a clunking in this thing, but I'm pretty sure it's just the plough on the ground. I don't think anything's loose, but I just worry about those wheels. But there's no sign. I'm pretty sure if those clamps were loose, she'd be moving around a whole lot, and I'm sure there'd be metal dust coming out too, so I don't think we're loose. Right, you know, I think we're good. Not sure why it's brought that light up, but it's gone away, so that's alright. Righto guys, just got a couple of laps out from yesterday. You don't know what it is. We are picking up the ground and we are flipping it over, and the idea is to kill the grass that's on top so we can plant the next crop. Now this is quite tidy, I'm quite happy with this. We come along here a wee bit, and this is not so much. Now it's not the colour change we're talking about here, it's just the furrows aren't real neat, they're up and down and bumpy. Now the only difference between that and that is rain. We had quite a bit of rain last night. I don't know, I would have guessed maybe half an inch yesterday afternoon, I should say, and it's softening things up really nice. Yeah, so she's coming up quite good. Not perfect. If we look down here, we'll go for a walk. You can see these clay strips through the paddock. Yeah, we'll head down to a bigger one. Yeah, so here's one here. So you can see the lighter colour, darker there, lighter up there. So what that is the ground here is sort of quite undulating. So if you look down here, the depth is pretty good. 8, maybe 9 inches. To be fair, it's, yeah, down here we go. We'll go about there, and the depth is a bit more, probably more like 10. And what happens is the furrows, you can see the grass just down inside there. So there's still plenty on top. We're going to roll this before we pair it, and they'll squish down. It'll close that in a fair bit. And just, to be fair, it isn't really the roots you can see. The grass is just down under there. The furrows haven't gone right over neatly, like you can see there. They've gone over a bit more, so they stand up a bit here, and that is just because the plough is so bloody long. It's running from the back wheels of the tractor to the back wheel of the plough. It's got no control of anything in between, so when you're going over a brow like that, the middle furrows particularly are biting quite a bit deeper. But you can play around with your front and rear all you want, you lift tight, and you can maybe get that right, but I just find I make a bigger mess of it. A couple of things before we go on with ploughing: you can't do it twice. So once you ploughed it, if you make a mess of it, you can't go back and do it again. Once you've done it, you've done it. So we're just going nice and slow. One paddock, you can just see the top of it way over there. We were running like 9Ks in there, it was coming up quite nice. This one today I'm at 6, but it's just, you just got to work with the conditions you got. So ploughing that way, going down, then coming back up. Once we're finished, we do the headlands that way. The paddock down there, it's a bit ugly, but it's an ugly enough paddock. It'll come up fine. It's quite steep. We'll talk about that later on with our lovely regional council and all their new rules. Well, newish, some of them. There's some problems there, but anyway, when it's a bit more like that, so you're literally picking up dirt and turning it. So you imagine if you're picking up dirt off the side of a hill and you're turning it down, you're like, a lot of this stuff, we're getting pretty close to the clay, so we're working with all of our topsoil. If you keep sending that down the hill year after year after year, you wind up with big areas at the top of the hill where you've got no soil. And clay's a great thing, but it's not great for growing. So we do try to turn them up, and that can be a bit untidy sometimes, but it's just the nature of it. We either try to turn dirt sideways or uphill when we can. You're not going to take hours and hours and hours a hectare doing it. Sometimes you'll turn some downhill, but you just work a paddock to try and, yeah, turn more uphill than you turn down. Anyway, we'll just have a look at these moldboards because there was a wee bit of rust on them before, and I'll show you how quick it just all gone, the whole lot, off the coulters and everything. Beauty. So we're just going to make sure when we put this away at the end of the job that we oil those moldboards. Got a wee air gun that sprays waste oil, smother them in that, because if they get deep rust on them, they can take hectares and hectares and hectares to shine up, whereas when I grab that plough out of the shed, within 30 metres, they will all shine. Righto guys, it's going to be a bit of a funny angle for you to watch, but it's just where I want to clamp it, because I want to show you, a lot of people when they're ploughing, put the wheel in the furrow, and it holds nice and straight, but on hills, it's actually a lot easier to plough, well I find it is, to plough on land. But I just want you to get an idea of how on land that front wheel is, because it's not by very much, and it does make for some tricky plough, and may explain some complications that I have later in this video, or maybe the next one. I'm not sure how we'll piece all this together, but yeah, quite close. Anyway, I'll pop this back up straight there. Now you can sort of see those ups and downs that I was talking about. Yeah, we're going down into one now. I'll put the camera on the plough later on, but next, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it's not, you can sort of feel it here at work a little bit. You guys might not be able to hear that there, but it's yeah, just makes for a bit of a challenging time, but that is the farm we've got. We're very happy to have it. You all have just seen that headland there in front of us. It's very, very ugly. Like I said, that's because we aim to turn dirt uphill when we can. And also I've driven over that about 100 times, which would not have helped when I was going between the runs. Not enough room to turn around now. Coming back up. Turn around here, go up this one, and then I'll put yours onto the plough somewhere, and you can watch the moldboards in action, because it is quite cool and quite mesmerising. Losing my words. Being on land, not being in the furrow, just gives you a lot more flexibility to move around, to correct your front furrow a little bit too. I just find it a lot nicer, a lot more comfortable to plough. I have done it in furrow before sometimes, and sometimes in tricky conditions. If the ground is really dry, you can just stick it in the furrow, because then you've got to work heaps with your plough, with your your lift arms and your rear wheel, playing with the width and everything, so you can forget about steering, but on hills it's not very nice. So currently doing 6.2 kilometers an hour, which is not fast, but it's okay. We're on short runs, so going faster wouldn't speed us up that much anyway. There we go. Right, I'll see if I can find somewhere back there to clip you, so that's going to give you a good view. guys, on that last run there, I had the back furrow quite shallow. Now, wasn't quite the need for it yet at this end, but down the other end there was. So if we have a look there, we're at full depth. Pretty deep. I did stuff up this entry a wee bit, that's alright. It was over here, but quite a lot shallower. Now, when you meet in the middle, you got two sides, well, you got two sides folding out, right? We're digging a big deep channel in the middle, so we want to keep that a bit shallower. I haven't been the best at doing that in the past, but we're going to from now on, because I think to a fair extent I've got it worked out, a bit more comfortable in the machine, and crikey, I've had it long enough. So you're still going to have a hollow in the middle where you finish, but that hollow isn't going to be quite as deep. Now there's a bit more to it. In theory, when you do that, you start at the back furrow, you've gone down so deep, every furrow goes a bit deeper. So when you're putting the next one over, it's actually falling down slightly further, so it helps to level it out a wee bit. Now I'm no match ploughman, but you'll see at the end, this isn't a tidy headland because they don't meet perfectly, but you'll get the idea. We'll talk about it more at the end. Right, let's have a wee watch through a very, very dirty window. So I'll essentially do that again with this pass. I'll probably wind up sinking it in full depth at the start and then feathering it back up, because you never know where it's at. But we'll see how we go. We'll just leave it there and see what happens. A bit shallow maybe. Yeah, it's not bad. So the last run here is going to be real untidy. See how clean that is at the back where we're ploughing really shallow? It's really easy to do a tidy job when you're ploughing at 4 to 6 inches deep, but we're aiming for realistically 8 to 10. The reason for that is we've found that in hill country particularly, sorry, not in hill country, it's actually a negative in hill country, for these sweeps. Now watch that back wheel here. It's going to go pop, and we're going to lift it up as it does that, otherwise we go real deep. And now as we go down here, we've got lots of stuff to control. Slow right down. That wheel's probably going to pop up on the other side. It's getting a bit ugly at the, yeah, there we go, at the front here. Don't do that, don't do that. It never works out perfectly. Well, that's not true. For me, it never works out perfectly. When you get a real good ploughman, see, they can make it work out pretty neat, but I am not that, and I am happy enough just doing that and not trying to say I'm better than them, because they're bloody amazing. But yeah, it's quite tricky doing those ins and outs. Tell you what though, how nice is that looking? That ain't bad, if I may say so myself. Now this is going to be real ugly at the start because we've got a real long thin strip. Maybe one day I'll learn how to do it. Because if the furrows at the back sink into those previous ones, or the moldboards, sink into those previous furrows that are turned, they turn up more grass. We are trying to kill the grass, so we might as well not rip those really nice ones up to try and make a few uglier ones just a little bit better in the middle. But it's all trade-offs, right? Oh, see that? The wheel's gone back out. I mean, I don't know. That's probably not too bad. It's good enough for me. But yeah, it is what it is. Sink the back wheel in now. Try and get the last few. Oh, look, it's not too bad. It'll do. Righto, guys. Got that one there finished, and we're now on to the next one. It's actually coming up really, really nice. This one better than the last one did. Now, I just want to go over some stuff here because there's some issues. Now, hopefully you can hear me over the wind noise. That is coming up beautifully. Now, that pinch there, just for a wee bit, is beyond 20 degrees. I could do it because I'm allowed 20 degrees over 20 metres. This bit here, there's just a wee pinch for about 10 metres. where it is over, but over an average of 20 metres, it's not. Just right down here in front of us, so it's okay. Down there, I don't want to say that's a critical source area. It's not. I mean, some people would deem this whole thing a critical source area. They can go and get effed. End of story. That bit there, I'm not too worried about that. It's neither here nor there. But because I've also got to keep 20 metres away from the waterway, we're not far off that anyway. That's probably only 22, 23 there. So we're just going up and around there. Further down, I would have probably gone a blow closer, but there's a creek there. We now have to be 10 metres. Now, just to clarify, I can plough it, I can plant it. I can't graze it until the 1st of October next year. That is useless to me, because in a better year, I'd plan to have all of this resown by the 1st of October, so I can't still have sheep on it grazing the crop. And I don't know what difference a date makes. This critical source area, well, it's not a critical source area. This potentially deemed critical source area is of quite concern to me. But, I mean, crikey, if I don't plough it, I'm going to leave 3/4 of a bloody hectare here, and I've left enough as it is. This round here, if that doesn't satisfy them, I'll be very concerned. But yeah, it is fiddly stuff. We're not going to get it perfect, and it seems to be a big problem with the regional council staff, is that they have no ability to use discretion. Now, when I say that, I don't mean they're not allowed to. What I mean by that is that in their nature, they just don't seem to be able to say, you got a 200 metre long strip and you've got to be 10 metres away. But for 5 metres of that 200 metres, you're only 7 metres. In their eyes, that's a penalty. That's a fine. That fine could be nasty. For that, I'm pretty sure if they threw a 300 grand fine out, there'd be some far more serious issues than worrying about the fine, and I wouldn't be getting paid. But yeah, I get the intent, don't get me wrong, and I'll show you some of the stuff further over there. When they start talking 20 metres, it is ridiculous. But because just over here I've got about half a hectare undone, I'm leaving, you can see that headland strip down there, so we might just do one blow to tidy that up. This bit along here, all that around the sides getting left, and further over. Because ultimately on a hectare of land, which it probably adds up to, I'm going to get, I don't know, what do you get, 14, 15 bales a cut. So I could get 20 to 30 bales of baleage off that. So it's worth doing what I'm going to do with it. But it'll be far better in crop, far better. And if it was only 10 metres, I'd say whoop-de-woo. 20 metres of buffer is absolutely outrageous. But anyway, that's what we've got to work with. But this is coming up real nice. So we'll go do a wee lap. I'll just stick the camera on the plough, well, on the back window looking at the plough, and I won't say boo, and yeah, let's just watch for a lap. nice. Gives you a bit of an idea of what we're doing here on the hills. You might have noticed me playing with the back wheel a wee bit, lifting it up and down, and that's just to deal with those undulations that I was talking about earlier. Now, I was just watching back through, seeing if the footage looked alright, and I realised that I never actually told you guys why we plough deep. And it's because the Swedes tend to like being able to get their roots out a long way. Yes, we do put enough fertiliser down the spout for them, so they don't have to go far to get that, but they still benefit from reaching further and taking more. And the beauty of a grazed crop is that even though they're taking it out, something like 93 or 94% of it, because it's being grazed on site, goes back into the soil. So they're a great way to financially viably lift your fertility. They're really good at swallowing up nutrients, so you don't have leaching losses. So you're always going to have some. You don't have much. You'll have some of that if you have no fertiliser put on. And then fertiliser, soil always responds better to fertiliser from an animal than it does from a bag. So it's put through the crop, which turns it into energy and protein and nutrients and everything, and then it's put through an animal and comes out the other end as the absolute most ideal fertiliser you could imagine, particularly in the manure side of it. It doesn't leach because it's sheep poos. I don't know if you've ever seen sheep poos, but they don't go very far. They don't go very far at all. And yeah, then when you put it back in grass, you've got a real nice high fertility paddock, and the grass just roars out of the ground. And of course, grass loves fertile soil. So yeah, we grow far heavier crops by ploughing deep, and yeah, I think it's worth doing. Like notably heavier. Like we never be the first to do it. Someone always beats you. And we sort of kicked off the precision planting with Swedes. We must be in year 12 or 13 now. Local contractor, a good friend, had a fodder beet planter, and he jokingly said to me, "You're going to put some Swedes to it?" Or I jokingly said to him, "Do you want to?" or something. Can't remember exactly. And the other one of us said, "Yep, why not?" And we did. It was only 3.5 hectares, and it was about a 15% yield jump. And since then, we've probably made about a 20 to 25% yield jump over conventional sowing methods. Just more precise use of fertiliser, precise spacings for the plant and everything. So yeah, and yeah, we've just found that the deeper you plough, the deeper you can bare harrow, the more tilth you create, the better the roots can spread, the more mineralised or plant available nutrients become. It's a win-win-win. It does take some managing. Obviously, the deeper you work, the higher your risk of losing soil with erosion. But as soils being pasture-based, and this isn't me, this is New Zealand ag in general, probably pastoral ag around the world, something we're not given enough credit for, is that our soils have amazing structure because they always have the animals. And it's a combination of the rotting vegetation, the feet, a little bit of compaction where it should be in nature's way, the fertility going through an animal being processed, cycling nutrients, as opposed to just putting them on out of the bag and then taking them off. Nothing against cropping farmers or whatever, but you know, we have to stick up for ourselves, and we don't get enough credit for those things. But because our soils do have amazing structure, like the chance of having erosion from a massive downpour coming out of grass is almost nil. Especially ploughing. I've seen it happen. We had it a few years ago where it literally washed out the runs. The planter had gone up and down the hill because they don't like going sideways, and it just washed out the wee runs, and of course it took the seed with it. Didn't even get down to the fertiliser because it was banded further down underneath. And yeah, the guy just come in and put new planted new seeds directly on top of the old ones, and we still had an amazing crop. But the volume of soil that was washed down was tiny, and the aggregates were quite big. And what that meant is that they never actually moved very far. They sort of went down the hill and then stopped at the bottom. And because, well, there was a creek at the bottom, it had a big flat area below it. I would suggest, I mean, something's always going to get there, but very, very little actually made it into the waterway. Now, when we're doing the regrassing, the soil sort of had 1 year of cropping. It's lost a bit of its structure, just to being cultivated a few times in well, only a year really, in a full year. It definitely loses its structure. There's a bit of risk involved in that. But through single cropping, I think we remove a lot of that risk. Double and triple cropping, the more you crop it, the higher the risk is. But ultimately, it's still soil grazed with animals, and yeah, the risk is there, but it's low. Righto guys, 2 more ones for the night. They're pretty small ones. We ain't going to get it up tonight, so stop putting it up a bit. Front up there too. That is a pretty good time to start because we're making mistakes again. So there's only that wee bit, one wee headland to do, but we're going to get it done tonight. A few other jobs to do in the morning, we'll take you with us for that, and yeah, we'll get back into it. Might be maybe to go after this, hopefully 3.5 to 4 hectares. So we'll get more out of this one, I thought. 3.98. Last week, it is pretty nice. Oh, that mob shifted themselves. Now, which way are the calves going to go? Will I go, Meg? Will I go, Meg? Hopefully not through the gates. Just doing some morning stock checks here, guys, and I've got a pretty good view of the second paddock that I ploughed before I started showing you guys. And I've got to admit, the ploughing looks a lot better from here than it did from the fence yesterday, but I just thought we'd go over this buffer zone stuff a bit more and show you how much area is being left out. So, if you look over here, right, all this, I would have done, where are we? That. I would have left all this because that, I can appreciate that being a good buffer. Last time we did plough that face, we come down it that way, so tipping on the soil that way. But we did say we were doing it once, so we're not grizzling about that. It's really this area down along here. Now I've hop out and I'll show you this. Originally I was only going to do one headland blow, and then I thought no, bugger it. So the problem is that coming down there is beyond 10 degrees. It does flatten out at the bottom, but not where those sheep are moving away over there. Beyond there it's a bit steeper, and just back in right about here where I've left the, you know, I've done that one wee blow there, it's a bit beyond there too. So it's all very hit and miss. And this creek, like back over here, we're going to be 30 metres away, but then it ducks right back in, and we're less than 20 there. That bit should be okay at less than 20. The ploughing is above 10 degrees, but the buffer is not. So if they're not fine with that, I don't know what I'm going to say. Then we come along, the creek snakes in further. So at the gate here, at the crossing, it's a lot further, but straight away it ducks right back into the fence there where that wee critical source area is that I've left undone. Right there. So the creek is zigzagging like crazy, and then it pulls in there as well. So you can't plough to that line, which means in some places I've got 30 metres of buffer. And I think we just got to get real about this. it's a ridiculous amount of land. I possibly shouldn't have done those 2 wee bits that I've done, where I've just come down a blow or 2 further, because I was still going to be able to bale that, but it's going to make it a bit more awkward. But I just need to get as much cropping as possible, because if I don't do that sort of stuff everywhere, I've got to tip a whole other paddock up, and that's a whole other paddock out of production for grass for the year, and it's just doing me head in. That is way too much buffer, so we're going to have to get real about that. It's the old story though, while the rules are in place to a fair degree, you've got to obey the rules, but we can still fight the rules, especially when they're stupid bloody rules. I'd love to see the evidence that says that produces a notably better outcome for the environment when all this crop's only going to get grazed by sheep, than say, let's just say I kept 5 metres off the bank / fence. So 5 metres off the fence, I'm not going to want to bury my fence, but I am ploughing uphill anyway. But where that sheep's standing over there, come around the edge of there, we'll say maybe by leave a plough width or 2 plough widths there, and then come back around, get onto the fence, just come along and just keep a couple of blows off the fence. I think it'll be a lot more practical, and like that there, that's like a 1/4 hectare. So you get 4 of those, and all of a sudden you've got an extra hectare. And I do wonder sometimes if the whole idea is they want us putting less crop in. In fact, I know that's the idea, but I don't give a shit. Winter crop is a crucial part of my farming business. If we destock, which we have to do if we go to all grass wintering, at this time of year, well, my farm's in pretty good nick right now grass-wise. We did have to put a bit of urea on. It's been an asshole of a season. In a normal season, we'd have some baileys locked up right now. There's no money in selling grass, so you can't just say, oh, we'll lock up more baleage and sell it, because A, if there's a lot of feed around, it's worth nothing, and B, by the time you put the fertiliser on to replace it, you've made no money, even in a normal year. So that's not an option. We've got to have enough stock to keep on top of the farm at this time of year, because this time right now is crucial to maintain quality. If you lose your farm here, you're going to have a fair whack of your farm still rough, crap, no good quality feed in March, which is the whole summer gone. So yeah, but anyway, it's a crucial part of this system. We can do it sensibly, we need to be able to do it sensibly. I'm not against the rules in general, well, that's a hard one to say too, but they're going too far. Anyway, we'll keep going for a drive around, then we'll go do some more ploughing. Let's see how this goes. There's a few stubborn ones that don't want to move very fast. Still, out, out. Yep, they're going back the other way. Meg's not going to help because she's a young underway. We'll see. They're stubborn. Got them! Apart from that one with her lamb. That's okay, she didn't want to walk up there, and they're all earmarked, so if they wind up in the wrong mobs now, it doesn't really matter because they've got the terminal earmarked. So yeah, these ones do actually have to go 1 paddock further down, but bugger doing that today. They're upset enough as it is. They should move better than that now, but yeah, some of those ewes are a bit slow, and it's been a hard season, so I guess yeah, heading down there to where all those Scotchies are. That's alright, we'll get them there one day soon. Man, the grass covers are improving every bloody day. That is a major benefit because we weren't tight. Didn't even put urea on this paddock, and it's actually got a reasonable stock around. It's a younger paddock and a good grass, but yeah, we're not thinking about locking up any baleage or hay or anything yet, but yeah, she's turned a corner, that's for sure. I was about to play dead or asleep with that fella, but yeah, he was very clearly asleep. Righto boys, time to make a start on your yearly manicure. Not just yet, but we'll get you across there anyway, because then the hoagies are coming in here. They know where they're going. Straight across to the yards, fellas. Will I go still? Male livestock are just so much easier to work with. And there they go. Alright guys, there goes that one all done. bloody good. We'll go get into the next one. Righto guys, this one down here is the next one that we're doing, the last one. And as you can see down there, there is what resembles, well, it's a valley floor, isn't it? It doesn't just resemble one, it is one. However, there's no waterway down there, but it is deemed to be, sorry, I was trying to squeeze the plough. Oh, that was closer than I'd have liked. I should have looked back sooner. Didn't hit. Yeah, it's considered a critical source area, and to be fair, it is. I'm not going to argue that it is. We will get down there shortly and have a look, because the regional council guys have actually been here for a field day and put some standards in down there. And I've got to admit, I dispute the size of what they call the critical source area a little bit. Only probably by 3 or 4 metres, considering the standards they put on one side and elevation are about a foot lower than the other. I know where the water runs, so I know we can get it right. But yeah, it won't quite be as wide as the probably, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts. 6 fours, I'll say 6 3.5s, 20 odd metres. So yeah, we'll probably cut that down to, I don't know, 12. There's another thing with that too, so like I keep saying, we like ploughing uphill. When you plough uphill, your last run leaves are hollow, because that's where the soil was, it's been pulled out of there and flipped over. And they have said, and I struggle with this, I get why they say it, but it's one of those things where they're going to have to learn to have a bit of discretion, use a bit of discretion. They will carry water. They will carry water to the critical source area, but they are then deeming them a critical source area. Now the only way around that for me is to tip soil downhill. I don't want to do that, but I'm thinking about it here that maybe I have to. But that's just a really, really, really bad outcome of the policy. So I don't know. We'll see what we think when we get there, but for now we're going to set up this top bit, because I've got a little bit to do going that way, and the rest of it's going to get up and down, and then we've got a headland to do at the end, which is fiddly, but it's just the way it's got to be done. Scratch mark number 1. Bugger it, we'll have the conversation now. Over here. So the cattle have been down here, and they've knocked all the standards over, but you sort of get the idea. So there's one of them right there. I don't know for sure that that's where it was. I suspect it was probably right about there. And then there's another one here. Here, I'll get these set up and we'll come back to you. Right, there we go. So it's 20 metres, not 25, 26, that's alright. 20 metres, I don't know guys, like it doesn't look like a massive strip, but at the same time, it's not a massive paddock, and it winds up being a big chunk of it. So under that face, we're not going to plough that face, that's beyond 20 degrees. However, I'm not going to plough that face anyway. We did it once to level it off, and we said we'd never do it again. It's shallow soil, there is rock in there. It's not our normal rock that breaks up. It's great for making tracks out of. It's big ugly sandstone chunks, so we're not going to do it anyway. We're going to come down, you can see the scratch mark up there. Basically straight from there, you can actually see sort of like an old furrow. That's where we're going to come down. I don't know. Do I make this? Like I reckon over this side, like right now I'm walking downhill. Right here is the point, and you can actually feel it's wet underfoot because it has been quite a wet season. You can sort of see it trails, here's my finger, around and back up that way. So like actually, to be fair, below that face there's probably 3 or 4 runs we could do comfortably, and I think we will. And like, don't get me wrong, we'll leave a good 10 metres, maybe even 15, but yeah, like we've got to get real about this. The thing with critical source areas is they say don't plough or don't cultivate or plant the critical source area. There is no buffer. From the tractor cab it is going to be a bit hard to pick, and it's not a straight line, so I can't mark it out with these standards, but we'll get these guys out of the road because I don't want to lose them. It's just, if I get this wrong, they can rock up on farm and they can essentially give me a fine, and I don't really want to get them out here to tell me exactly where they are. They've already been here. I'm not that happy with their answer. Would it be the end of the world if I just stuck with it? No, but man, we've lost some ground. Well, we haven't lost it, we've still got it. We've lost some available area to crop through this. and like I've said many a time, I don't believe I'm the problem. Yeah, we will come up with a decision on the fly. You know, I hate to admit it guys, but I think their sizing might have been right. There's just one little point down there where I can squeeze it right in, and I'm going to. I'm absolutely going to, but man, it takes up some ground. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest, but yeah. It's just, yeah, right there, we've got it down to that far, but I've got to swing back out again. Now if I decide this is too wide and I can go narrower, I can do blows. I probably will tip it down because it'll probably only be one blow. But I can make it narrower with a headland blow at the end, but yeah, this is frustrating. And just like that guys, we are done. Sorry, I didn't do any filming of that. I had Ted, my oldest, here for a bit, and we just had chatting away, and then I was like, damn, I'm almost done. Oh well, we'll just carry on. But yeah, ignore the bit right in front of you, but there is the main section of the paddock. Come up pretty good. So we've turned this uphill. I have done a few runs downhill that way, but I couldn't not. It's just not going to work. This is really annoying, but this is just what happens. It's not much. Pat here will take care of it. And if we come down here, we've got the buffer. So this is the steep face. It is too steep. Like I said, it's got shallow soil on it. I could plough that. I could quite comfortably plough that, but it doesn't have a lot of soil. I mean, you can see in that, well, have a look in that hole. It's just clay. Yeah, it grows grass right now, so we leave it alone, because if we keep cultivating that, you know, every 10 years, we did it once to smooth it off because it was rutted to hell. We keep doing that every 10 years, we're going to get to the point where up here there's no soil, and it's going to get further and further down, and clay don't grow grass. But anyway, this is what we settled on for the buffer at all the critical source area. It is pretty big. I've stuffed it up down that end. The ploughing isn't quite where the water runs, but like it's at that post, and it's between that post and the next one where the water runs. So I could have taken another blow off here, but it comes out and ducks over here. It's just not doable, so we just ran with that. But yeah, that side over there looks pretty bloody spectacular, I reckon. This doesn't look too bad. The other side of the merge looks pretty good. And yeah, then we've got this bit down here. So yeah, it's all come up pretty reasonably. It's pokey, it's a big tractor for this sort of stuff, which means getting in and out of tight wee areas can be quite challenging. It doesn't have the turning circle. It's a long plough. I think we're 9 meters from the rear axle of the tractor's wheel center to the wheel center of the plough, so any undulations in between, the plough can't bend and wobble. It has to go through that, and everything's cutting at different depths. What it does have, that tractor, is the ability to haul ass up that there at 9 k's an hour and make a beautiful job. So at low revs, yeah, I do like that tractor. It is the right size. It is not too big. But anyway guys, that's us. Ploughing is done. We will see you back in the next video, where we will be, I don't know what, I've got super to put on in the bin, we've got lime coming, I've got to roll this, all of it, then we've got to pair it all, I've got to pick up ferret tomorrow. We're not going to talk about putting 3.5 tonne of ferret on a 1 tonne trailer and towing it up the road to the double cab. We're not going to talk about that. We have got lots of stock shifts still to do. We're getting closer to that time where weaning's around the corner. We've got the lates to tail, so lots to come. Don't know what's going to be in the next one guys, but yeah, we will see you then.